right, let's do this. We are the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Cheeseman. Riding shotgun is Chad Sowash, and this is the AI Sessions Frontline Series. As we welcome Matt King, Director of HR Technology at Domino's. Matt, welcome to HR's Most Dangerous Podcast.
Pleasure to be here, fellas.
Glad to have you here. So, a lot of people know Domino's Pizza, but they may not know Matt King. So, give us the elevator pitch on you and what you're doing at Domino's.
Well, it's been a long journey. So I got my start in educational technology and made a big career pivot a few years ago and went into HR technology and found myself at Domino's. And I manage our HR tech stack. So I manage our SaaS applications, hiring, learning systems, workforce management systems, talent systems, and I also help manage our core HCM. And one thing that's interesting about our tech stack and the way we deploy it to our US system is we play both in the corporate space and the franchise space. So we have managed deployments of some of these platforms to our franchisees, make them available to them as well.
Make it available to them, but they don't have to actually use it. Is that what I'm hearing?
It depends. Yeah. So in the case of our learning systems, they're optional for our franchisees to use. For our hiring systems to help us create brand unity and sort of a centralized branding experience for potential Domino's employees, either at our franchise organizations or for our corporate organizations. We do mandate the use of an ATS solution, Smart Recruiters, and we have a centralized career site that covers the whole brand.
And Domino's was tech before tech was cool, right? I mean, they were doing mobile ordering before anyone else. Does that mentality permeate into the recruitment set?
Yeah, it certainly does. We have a lot of technology differentiators in our brand, and our hiring technology, recruitment technology is no different. But we've been on an interesting journey, right? Like I think that one of the things you observe is there are changes in how you think about the engagement of candidates, the level of engagement that's appropriate to have with candidates. Sometimes you want a lot of human touch. Sometimes you want a lot of automation. It's hard to really connect those two things. So we kind of ebb and flow, right, in terms of the amount of automation that we enable. And one thing that's interesting about our business too is it's not just automation. It's not just, ease of candidate experience that we think about. It's also extensibility to our franchisees, because these are independent business owners. Our franchisees are incredibly entrepreneurial. They're incredible operators. They're coming to us all the time with ways that they've optimized their hiring processes that we're considering for our corporate locations as well. So we want to make sure that we're giving them tools that are forward-facing, really cutting edge, but also have a lot of flexibility for them to manipulate them to satisfy the needs that they have as unique independent businesses. And that can be a real challenge.
So being in how many corporate stores versus franchises? What's the percentage around?
Yeah. So we have about 7,100 locations in the United States, about 21,000 internationally. In the United States, we have, it fluctuates, but anywhere between 250, 300 corporate stores. And then the rest is franchise.
So the bulk is franchise. So has there been kind of like a draw for people wanting to use AI in your space, so to be able to help them actually prospectively become a standard throughout all of Domino's? Because we're seeing restaurants using chatbots at the drive-through. I mean, they're all over the place, right? So is this almost kind of like a cool factor they might be able to get into now, and it might allow you, from a corporate standpoint, really to get more standardized across all the franchises?
I think so. I mean, I think in terms of the candidate job search and application experience, like my perspective on this, and I think that our corporate recruiters share this perspective, is that conversational applications is essentially table stakes in our space now. That's no longer
That's
sort
big.
of cutting edge or cool.
Yeah.
I guess it will always sort of be cool. But, we started with a candidate-facing chatbot that allows for job search, application, answering screening questions, all within that one experience. What I'm seeing there is there's kind of like two evolutions I'm observing. One is just that experience has gotten a lot better. So it's not quite as scripted. It doesn't feel like, it's automated responses to very specific prompts.
The decision tree is leaving.
Exactly. And it feels a lot more human.
That was a dad joke, Chad. Leaving. Chad,
Well, the other thing that's nice about it gives you opportunities to like add in additional validations that weren't possible before. Like, this doesn't look like a real social security number, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And say that in a nice way. But the other thing that I think we're starting to see is the workflow orchestration that happens that's, conversational assistant assisted. And that really touches the recruiters and the orchestration of the candidate experience as they go through the hiring process, because our goal is to get the initial touch point with the candidate into the applicant tracking system as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
We don't want to bombard them with like a 20 question application and capture all this information up front.
Yeah.
We want to capture it only if we need it. And it, I think, for the most part, that's been our objective, is like appropriate information at the appropriate time,
Right.
capture it through an omni-channel, multi-channel experience that meets candidates where they're at.
So from the recruiter standpoint, I mean, because we always talk about candidate experience, we never talk about recruiter experience, right? And that's pretty important because we want to keep them around. We want to make sure that their job doesn't suck. So on that side of the house, have you seen that this could make a much better recruiter experience? And then how are you currently structured? Do the recruiters only hire for corporate? Do they also help out with franchise? What's that dynamic look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. So our recruiters don't advise or support our franchisees in any particular way other than best practice sharing.
Gotcha.
So if we're doing something in the corporate space that we think is beneficial for franchisees to be aware of and think about whether they want to adopt for their organization, we certainly will make that information available. And our recruitment team has relationships with our franchise recruitment teams that operate within these franchisees. Beyond that, like, I think that we've really endeavored, especially after the switch to smart recruiters, to bring franchisees much more into the mix in expressing their needs to our vendor partner. So we've had on-site sessions where we've brought in some of our major franchisees to speak directly with smart recruiters, brought in their entire recruiting teams.
Gotcha.
And had them speak directly with smart recruiters product teams. And that has been, a pretty unique experience because we can make a lot of assumptions sitting at corporate headquarters about what our franchisees need. But I think the thing that I always keep in mind is like the persona of the franchisee. It's a privilege to some extent to be a dedicated recruiter. But these franchisees are responsible for the P&L of their entire business.
Yeah.
They may have a recruitment team, they may not.
Right.
They may be a single store operator who's doing everything from recruitment to managing their store to ordering food. So there's a lot on their plate.
All right, let's leave it there, Matt. Thanks for hanging out with us today. This has been the Chad and Cheese Podcast. For Joel Cheeseman, Chad Sowash, this has been the Sessions AI Frontline Series. We out.
We out.